What up, YouTube? Wow, a lot happens in 24 hours. If you haven't watched the video where we purchased the motorcycle behind me, that was uploaded yesterday, go check that out. Give that a good little watch. You'll see how it sets the mood for everything that you're about to see in this video. First off, I gotta apologize to some of the people that left comments in the first video. 2,000 for an F4i, the missing parts, and ride rough. Man, you got ripped off big time. You'll see some of my replies. I was fully under the impression that we got ourselves a pretty good deal buying that motorcycle at $2,000, but as you'll see today, I got ripped off. Oh man, appreciate it. All right, so let's regress to the beginning of the live stream where we started so optimistic. What up, YouTube? Welcome to F4i Big Bike Build. We're gonna do a teardown on mostly stock Honda CBR F4i with the goal of compiling a parts list to turn it into a stunt build. My first big bike I purchased with the goal of stunting, something I was very excited about at the beginning of the stream and all day yesterday. Now F4i stunters. But like I said, there were some known issues that we already knew when we purchased the bike. The idle adjuster was removed and placed on the air-fuel ratio slot, so they kind of swapped it. And then this is just the idle adjustment.
I think they put that one in the idle slot.
The kill switch had some ghetto wiring done with little twisty wire things that you find in your ceiling fans. And the plastics, the fairings, they were nothing too exciting, but you know, I'm a stunning out, didn't really care. This is like that cheap eBay injection molding plastic, but already cracked off. We knew we had to remove the aftermarket lowering link and replace it with a stock one to bring the back end up to stock height. And we also planned on removing the rear rotor, which I don't even know what kind of brand this is, never seen it before, it looks horrible. But we were going to remove this non-contact rear rotor and replace it with a stock one. Little things like that that we didn't plan on taking more than an hour. So the first thing we did, we started taking apart the fairings. As soon as we took apart the side panels, we could see that there was some damage to one of the threads. It looked like a frame slider broke off. So we noticed that right away, that there was some sort of contact with the ground on this bike. As soon as Lewis took off the front headlight assembly, that fairing piece, you can see the clutch cable needed to be replaced. It had some water in it, so it looked like they just washed it and didn't dry it out. I had a few of those. We tried to see if they'd fit. They didn't, so you know, that's no biggie. It's like 15 bucks. Oh, but wait, there's more. That right fork was shining out our live chat, and you could tell right as you took that front fairing off, that right fork was bent really bad.
Those forks look bent.
That's what they said?
They are bent.
Lewis. Here we go. Oh my God. So yesterday during the test ride, Lewis pulled in after he rode it around and said, What's up?
What's up? It's like the right fork pushes more down.
That kind of made my alarms go off. I already handed the guy the money, like a deposit, to ride it in case Lewis went down. I thought it was going to be the fork, so my natural response was, how much are the forks?
No, it's not like a bent or anything.
It's an adjustment.
Yeah.
When he was going fast and he grabbed a handful of front brakes, the bike dipped down to the right.
But it might be just because the bars are a little crooked.
You know, with the excitement of the idea of being the next Brian 636 or Dank Wheelie doing circle wheelies and putting my legs out and stuff, you know, I kind of just brushed it aside as well. So I'm equally to blame on this one. I was also kind of blinded by the fact that Lewis said that.
Oh, it feels good though. Probably one of the best ones I've rode.
So that was something that was very important to me when I've been looking for these bikes, was finding one with a strong motor, a clean frame, clean title. So it kind of made me overlook some of the other things as well. So after swallowing that hard pill, looking on eBay, trying to decide if I want to upgrade to a 954 front end or buy just one tube, we decided to take a step back and work on the known issues. Lewis had an extra idle adjuster, so he replaced the idle adjuster and the air fuel ratios, which involved cutting one of these down. He also did the clean air mod, which helps with oil so it doesn't just overflow on the ground when you're doing too many wheelies, and he did a bypass for the tip sensor. Moving right along, this bike had a lot of handyman electrical issues where we could see they used twist ties that you would find in like a ceiling fan, those little wire connectors. And the kill switch was one of the ones that was pretty apparent right off the bat. So we went ahead and fixed some of that wire in, spliced some wires, heat shrinked it, got that looking pretty nice, and we got the module to work again. We took out one of the spark plugs also, and we saw that there was some oil on it. Lewis wasn't really concerned. After hours, I went and purchased a new valve cover gasket because that's what I read online that it could be. Whatever, it's in the mail from Partzilla, so Lewis is losing a little credibility. I'm just gonna start buying parts now. Let's move on. It gets better. Second surprise. So it's now dinner time. We're now 3.5 hours into this live stream. We take a little break from the live stream, go get some dinner, come back, regather our thoughts, decide we want to take the forks off. So we first take the right side fork off. You can see how bent it is here. And then looking at the left side fork, we can see that one is bent as well. In fact, let me back up. We look at the wheel with the two forks on, one still in a triple tree, and you can see the right side tire and wheel is kind of touching the right side, or excuse me, the left side fork, right side if you're looking at it from the front. And here we are today with With this little guy here. This guy's not looking so hot. She's not looking too hot either. That thing had a number done to it. So I gotta chalk this one up to a shady seller right there and some gullible buyers on our part. You could tell that the seller, knew something was wrong with this. He might have been the one that crashed it. He might have purchased it like that one, but whoever laid this bike down did so in a good manner to where they damaged the complete front end. Here, can you help? We need help. Can you bend that fork? Bend it back, right? Moving on to the second surprise, Lewis is in the back of the bike doing something back there where he notices the subframe is bent too.
No. Yeah.
What?
Nothing.
What? Is the subframe fucked too? So if you look at it from the top, you can see the left side top bar is bent out, the top part of the subframe, compared to the right side where it's in line with the bottom. Although not ideal, considering the price I paid, I'm not too concerned. My Grom's subframe's been bent for 2 years. I still can ride it fine. So here comes the big kick in the nuts. Engine case could be damaged. What do you think about that? And what?
It didn't look damaged. There's no scratches on it or anything. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, it is.
Is it just the side case or is it the block?
You don't need to look at that.
Holy shit, here we go. And yeah. We're gonna look at the strongest motor that Lewis have seen.
The motor is good.
Known donated $5 through Super Chat. He said I wouldn't pay that much, rolling on the floor laughing.
Turns out where the motor meets the side case for the stator, it's cracked. So they welded it back together, put a whole bunch of like JB weld or aluminum weld in there.
Fat56 Pat donated $1 through Super Chat. So Def Films loves Photogromer. Don't look so depressed. Wicked 603 donated $5 through Super Chat. What did I miss? Cliff notes besides you overpaying, LOL.
That's all you need to know, Wicked. All that booger weld is all right here underneath and going up the side. And it blends in, so the booger weld goes like that. If I take the side cover off and I break booger weld from the block, is booger weld gonna come out of the block and a big crack in the block's gonna come with it?
Wicked 603 donated $5 through Super Chat. Scrap it, new Grom build series for Tennessee Bash in June. LOL.
It looks like that whole bottom piece broke off and they welded it back on.
So all this,
You can see it inside too, where it's welded.
yeah, no, I could see. Jeez.
Where they grounded it.
And then filled up data cover with a gasket and Make-A-Wish gasket where you just filled in with that red goop and slapped it on there and called it a day. So paying premium price for a clapper, that one kind of hurts. So here we are now, hindsight's 2020, right? Looking back, I don't blame Lewis. He's doing an F4i build and he bought a clapper right out of the bat. So he bought a $600 bike. He got on that bike, rode it. That motor was purring. He got his blinders on. You get excited when you go to look at a bike, especially when you've been shopping them online for a good amount of time and everyone that comes across seems like a shady or a bad deal. This one online seemed like a good deal. It seemed like someone that just bought a bike to go fast, just a normal Florida bike rider where didn't want to stunt it, didn't do too much to it, but pulling up to the shop where I purchased this, you could tell right away that it was definitely a shady shop. Yeah, everything they did to the bike, in my opinion, they bubble gummed it back together, covered it with some plastics, and presented it as something that's not.
I actually noticed that when I rode it. Like, I actually think that they're out a little bit.
Now looking back, Lewis told me to bring a whole toolkit. I brought the Ugga Dugga whole toolkit with the full intention of actually going through the bike. That would require taking the fairings off, which the seller may or may not be okay with. This seller probably wouldn't have been okay with because he probably knew something was hidden back there. If I knew what I knew today, would I have purchased it for $2,000? Absolutely not. I would have walked away. With all that being said, I took a shot. I trusted a little too much and I got burned. But we're going to work through the issues. We're going to work through the next issue and the next issue as they come up, hopefully further down the line. But we're going to work through the issues and we're going to complete this build behind me. And we're going to make it into what I want is a big bike to stunt. So we're going to get there. It's just going to take a little bit longer, a little bit more money. And hopefully maybe I can talk some sponsors into a little bit of support. But we're going to get there. So thank you to everybody that joined me in the live stream. Thank you to the people that donate, support, my patrons, the sponsors that we do have on board, and all the super chats. Everyone that just hung out with us for 12 hours and watched the train wreck, which was tearing this thing apart. I appreciate your support. We're going to be going live again later this week. We're going to be continuing this. I do have some forks that I purchased. I'll talk about that in the next live stream, but we're getting the parts in. We're starting to make some contacts with sponsors, and hopefully soon we'll be back on this bike very quick. Stay tuned. This is just the beginning.